Hey again, I'm Mark Patterson, the pastor at 12 Mile Creek Church in Weddington, North Carolina. We meet on Sundays from 9:30 in the morning till 11 a.m. and we have Sunday school after. Just wanted to talk about a topic that we went over in part of our philosophy of ministry that we're trying to figure out at our church. And that is what size the worship service will allow it to grow to. You know, one of our core values is to plant other churches. And we won't be planting video venues of me teaching or anyone else teaching. Our ultimate goal is to really grow up other leaders within our church. We have a couple seminaries close by, leaders within our own church, and we actually want to grow up other speakers and people that can plant another church congregation, maybe part of a network or maybe autonomous on their own. We'll plant them all the way as far as we can into a closed Muslim country, into Europe, into our nation, and maybe even locally in the community. So that's one of our ultimate goals, is to plant and grow the kingdom through other leaders in planting other churches. So as part of that, we're going to limit our worship size. Now, megachurches generally are described as churches that are above 2,000 people in attendance. And our desire is to never be a congregation of such a large number where we have to build a really large structure that costs a lot of money, put us in debt, and you lose a lot of the interaction, the personal interaction that you can have in smaller congregations. So what we'd like to do is have a smaller number in worship, do multiple worship services, say up to 3 that I think one pastor can comfortably do, or you can do more throughout the week. But to bring on other leaders, other speakers, as you have other worship services, say worship service 3, 4, 5, 6. And you just have other speakers, because I don't believe that I'll be the only qualified speaker once you get to, maybe 50 to 100 to 300 to 1,000 for sure people that are attending your church. So we really want to make an effort at focusing on investing in other leaders and growing them up to plant them as other congregations. Part of that in the way that we want to continue in community is to have that small worship size. So what is that size? It's a cultural thing. I don't know the answer. We're working through that and discussing that now. Sunday school, we had about 10 or 12 people in it, and each person went around the room and asked them what they thought that number was, and it went from 50, or just having 60 in the congregation in the worship service to all the way up to 500. My answer was 333, and I don't know exactly what that number is. We're going to work to try to figure out what we believe, where you can still have personal interaction from the stage with the people, ask questions, people can comment. It never becomes this highly produced show where we're paying lots of money to be the best show in town, because we just don't believe in competing with other churches to have a better product. We're trying to grow as disciples, and in that you have real intimate community, and then I think at some certain size, really my personal belief in philosophy of ministry, and it's okay, other churches are different, we're all different flavors, and I think that that's okay. I just think that many times when we get to a certain size, the institution or 12 Mile Creek Church could become more important in sustaining itself than what the actual mission and goal was originally. And that's really to produce disciples. And I think we have a tendency, I know I do, to want to grow, be large, and then somewhere you really got to be extremely concerned about providing that nice facility for so many people, and it really becomes a drain on the resources. And I think an institution really has to be extremely focused when they get to that place to continue to make the main goals and the mission that you originally set out on to continue to be the focus and main goal of the mission. Unfortunately, I think a lot of larger bureaucratic institutions, including the church, can become more inwardly focused for some reason when you get to that place that you've always been shooting for, and that's building that structure to house more people. And so I don't have it all worked out. We don't have it all worked out. but we're going to limit the size of that worship service. You can still become a mega church through 6 services housing 300 people, 400 people per worship service. Even that I think is a little high. But one of our main intentions is not to try to grow to be a 3,000 member church. Is to really grow the kingdom with new leaders and other congregations and try to grow exponentially. Because no matter, even if you can build a 15,000 seat sanctuary, in the community, in the state, and in the world, it's really a small number of people. So we want to be more focused on making real disciples, and that's hard to critique. It's hard to try to determine, are you doing that? But I don't think because it's hard you should give up on it. And you also, out of those disciples, really try to develop leaders that are gifted and other gifted preachers, speaker, communicators that you can plant, create new congregations around, and really grow the kingdom exponentially. That's our heart's desire. That's what we're going to do, and that's what we're trying to figure out. So, thanks.